Hi, I'm rickdior, just getting a little warmed up there for today's subject, which is Partido Alto. This is the last of a 6-part series on Brazilian rhythms from my book, Advanced Coordination for Drum Set and Hand Percussion. So Partido Alto is a funk Brazilian rhythm, inherently played on the drum set. So unlike most of these rhythms, except for bossa nova, all of the previous things were played on percussion instruments and then moved to the drum set. Samba, baião, frevo, all those rhythms were originally played with percussion and then moved to the drum set. But Partido Alto was born on the drum set, as well as bossa nova in a way. That was the last video that I did in this series. So this is the last part, and this is going to be located on page 53, again, of my book. So this rhythm is based on that Brazilian mother rhythm, which if I play a samba bass drum pattern, I'll play the rhythm with my hands. So that rhythm, bop, 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 bop. That's one of those mother rhythms we've been talking about, and the way that is distributed on the kit for this is between the kick drum and the snare drum. So a slow version might sound like this. So you see there, I started out by playing all the notes, and then you can leave some notes out and even turn it around so it's backwards like this. So lots of ways to play this, and many times the rhythm is displaced, so it's very funky. So in other words, you could take the rhythm and move it over by a 16th, and it becomes even funkier. So it's truly a modern kind of funk rhythm. So we'll go over these rhythms in my book one by one. There's 7 of them at different tempos, and I'll play them each slowly and then at a couple different tempos. So this first one should be the first one you might want to learn, besides that general Partido Alto, which I just played for you. And that has an open hi-hat that happens on the and, so in that first bar. So slowly it's this. Now, one thing I forgot to tell you today is I have changed the snare drum I'm using, which is going to be a 5-inch Doc Sweeney African Olivewood drum, which matches this kit. If you remember previously, I was using a 6.5-inch drum. It has a lot more pop, and I've also changed my hi-hats out to these very thin Paiste 13-inch darker hi-hats because they're very fast. So I like that sound, kind of a dry, fast sound for this kind of funk rhythm. So now if we do that a little faster, let's say half note equals 104, that rhythm sounds like this. 1, 2, 1, 2. So don't be afraid to improvise around the rhythm once you get it going, changing some of the surfaces, doing some different things, again, once you learn it. Now, the one under it can go a little bit slower because it's a one-handed rhythm using this pattern. good tempo for this is half note equals 95. 1, 2. Now, one thing you'll see if you look at my feet when I'm playing is I'm leaving my hi-hat foot kind of close. I'm barely moving it when I open that. So it's a very subtle open. Kind of trying to sound like a pandero, all right? Brazilian tambourine. Very lightly opened. So number 3 is a reverse Partido Alto. So now we're going to start with the downbeat on the snare drum. Now here's a great time to use all your rudimental double stroke techniques on the hi-hat. It adds a lot of character and color to that. So a good starting tempo would be at about 100. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. And the one under it has a hi-hat open pattern, kind of like a disco pattern. And again, that's tip, tip, shaft on the opens. Let's play that at the same tempo. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's a really good one as well to use. These combined, you can go back and forth, verse, chorus, if you want with these. Now the next one, number 5, uses a small little cowbell I have here, which is very dry. So this is a left-hand lead rhythm. We've done left-hand lead for all of these rhythms. I'm a big proponent of that. And what you want to do, as always, is use the shaft of the stick on the open and the tip on the closed. A good tempo for this starting would be slow, 94. And this is a tricky rhythm, so just take your time working on it. 1, 2, 3, 4. And faster, it can be about 110. That's a good practice tempo as well. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, if we look at number 6, we get into some pretty interesting displaced versions. By displaced, I mean everything gets moved over by a 16th. So I'm sure most of you have heard about playing backwards and that whole thing. Well, all that is you're moving everything over by a 16th. A good book about this is David Garibaldi's Future Sounds, where he takes permutations of these rhythms and moves them over, and they become something completely different. So as an example, I'll show you a groove that's being turned around. If we just do it 110, I'll play you a little funk beat, and then I'll play it turned around by 1/16th note. 1, 2, 3. So I know that was a lot of stuff, but there I moved everything over by a 16th until I got to the last 16th of that beat. Now I'm going to do a whole video on this, on playing backwards, displaced funk. So don't worry about that. But these Partido Altos, numbers 6 and 7, are based on that concept. So we'll get the first one going slowly. Let's say 100. That's a pretty good tempo. And we'll see if we can play this. 1, 2, 1, 2. So we'll go a little faster and I'll improvise a little bit. So 114 is a good tempo to practice quickly. 1, 2. So very Tower of Power-like, very David Garibaldi-like there. The next one, number 7, is similar, although it does have the right hand coming over a little more like this. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. So I played the second one, and then I went back to number 6 so you could hear the difference. So these are just tons of fun. You can almost hear Clyde Stubblefield playing these with James Brown, all right? So learn them and use them sparingly. A lot of times in Brazilian music, especially in jazz, you'll play the introduction in a Partido Alto, and then you'll go straight into samba. And then there'll be an interlude maybe in Partido Alto, or vice versa. So a lot of times these grooves are interspersed throughout the tune to create variety. And we'll do a little of that. I'll do a closing little demo here. So I've really enjoyed doing this whole series, Afro-Cuban grooves, and then the Brazilian grooves from my book. It's a big topic, and it's going to be a total of 13 different videos. So those of you who have the book, I hope this helps you understand it better. The recordings that come with it obviously have all these grooves, but here I was able to stretch out a little more and talk about things. So take care, and we'll see you soon.